Oh, Trixie, come on. Hold on. Trixie, come on, baby. Hurry. People are coming. People are coming. Get over here. Trixie, we're live. Trixie, come here. Oh, Trixie, you're going to unplug the computer. Get over here. All right. We're going to. Okay. Okay, we're just going to. Just give us a second. We're just going to cut to a video real fast till we get Trixie settled. I'm laughing, and the vet's not laughing. See, I was thinking that Trixie was very underweight, and Maggie looks healthy to me. And instead, from what I understand, Maggie's very overweight, and Trixie's a typical boxer, and she's fine. So all the worry that I had is for nothing. Trixie, nope, you already had yours. Come here. Come back. No. Come on, Daddy. No. Oh, man, he's so sweet. I just don't get it. I've been walking with Maggie every single day, and she just can't seem to lose any weight. I know what it might be. We might try to change up our exercise a little bit. Maggie, I have an idea, baby. How about we hula hoop? Can we hula hoop? Her feelings are, she's going to go out and work out right now. Nah, she'll wait till.
She just doesn't want you to record her talk anymore.
She goes, stop, Daddy. I'm done. I'm so upset. I went over there with the expectations that I was going to be chewed out by the vet because of this little skinny girl here. Because she looks thin to me. She doesn't look healthy. Like, she doesn't look fit. What do you think? But Maggie, I thought, looked really good. And, I mean, both their coats are fine. And I knew they weren't sick. But I just thought that.
It has a lot to do with aging hormones and.
Oh, baby.
Trixie's a spaz.
Oh, don't say that. Trixie's a little bit. She just has high anxiety like her daddy. This is the one thing that Trixie and Maggie have in common. The only thing. Everywhere we go, whenever we have time to sit down, Maggie would always put her hand over on mine. She'd always want to hold hands. That reminds me how you see a sweet couple sitting in church and the wife always has her hand on her husband's arm. I love this girl. I do. I just like all the trouble you get into. She, very different than Maggie. You all know that. We're going to talk a lot about her today. Yes, we are. We are going to talk a lot about Trixie today. Guys, with no further ado, I would like to introduce you all to our beloved Trixie. Oh, you've seen her so many times. You've seen her chasing chickens. You've seen her killing turkeys. You've seen her biting the tires on the side-by-side. You've seen her sucking the exhaust out of the back of of any motorized vehicle. You've seen her run under vehicles, and I'll tell you what, she lives a very rough life. But we love her dearly. She's not Maggie, but there are some things that she and Maggie have very much in common. And today I thought I would just kind of like let her hang out with me here in the live shack. Yes, we're at Longhorn Lester's. This is Trixie's very first trip to Longhorn Lester's. We've God, it sounds horrible. We have tried to leave her where we know she's safe. Trixie doesn't call. She doesn't come when you call. I would say for every bad habit that your dog can have, Trixie has all of them. And I don't know how that is. And please, y'all, stop all that nonsense about licking you in the face is nasty and that's going to get you sick. Guys, I've never gotten sick in my life from a dog kissing me in the face. As a matter of fact, I will lick her right back. Not going to do it right now. But we do. I let my dogs kiss on me, and I love them. And I've never known anyone who got sick from their dogs licking and kissing on them. You want to get down? She was standing on her hind legs, and it has to be uncomfortable. But I have Trixie here with me at Longhorn Lester's, and I thought I would bring a video with Trixie and talk a little bit about that. Jamie brought her over yesterday, Thursday. So on Thursday afternoons, I normally take, well, I've been this all of this year picking up Lex from school. And Jamie has let us the last couple of times use her points to stay in a hotel room so we don't have to drive so far with my shoulder. And that's been really neat. The problem is it's put a lot of work over on Jamie, though. Jamie has to do a whole lot. You want to come up with me? You want to come up? You can come up if you want to over here. Jamie's had to do a whole lot of work, not on the floor. You got to come into the chair. Jamie's had to do a whole lot of work with feeding up over here at Longhorn Lester's. And so last night she says, maybe I should take Trixie with me. And I'm thinking, Argo, Millie and Fiona, goats. There's no feathered babies here, and I didn't fear her getting in with the ostriches. But anyway, Jamie brought her up, and they slept here, and there she is behind me. Look, they slept here in the camper. You want to come up? Come on, over here. They slept in the camper last night. She said that Trixie was up and down all night, just could never really find her place. She doesn't really know what's going on with what. But here she is at Longhorn Lester's. She's not going to stay here, friends. Whenever I head back over to I'm a Survivor, she'll go with me. And yeah, for everyone who's asking, Trixie is Maggie's daughter from her very first litter. We did let Maggie get pregnant. Maggie had 3 litters of babies before we finally got her spayed. And I actually, for as many folks who are going to be screaming and hollering, you're a puppy mill, you're a puppy mill, I can't stand the puppy mills, I will tell you right now that I was able to use the monies that I was able to sell those purebred boxers, registered boxers, to help rebuild at that point, rebuild my home and my farm. So also, guys, don't get it twisted. Dogs, purebred dogs, for the most part, good purebred dogs are not the ones that end up running the roads as strays. Purebred dogs are the ones that people, when someone's going to give you $800 for a puppy, I can guarantee you they're going to probably take good care of that dog. And that always lets you know what kind of people you're sending your pup with when they're willing to pay that much money for a dog. And so I have kept in contact with all of the owners of the folks who have bought from us when we used to breed Maggie. And there's some really amazing dogs out there. And I don't want to start this whole thing on breeding Maggie and all of that. That was long before we had started the sanctuary. And long before, that was when Lester was living in a barn and looking for ways to make ends meet. So why does someone keep saying whistle? Someone keeps saying whistle, and I'm not real sure why you insist that I whistle. I suck in when I whistle. I don't blow out. But I'm an amazing whistler. It's not doing anything for Trixie. She's already found her a place to lay down there, and she's conked out. This live shack is more than what she's used to. You know that she normally stays in our barn dominium or in our home back at I'm a Survivor. And we've had people over, so obviously she's had to go somewhere else for those few days here at a time. And we do have friends who's able to watch her when we do that. So now, so we're not going to make this live about the fact that, oh my God, Lester, you let me down the way you would breed Maggie. I was very responsible with Maggie. Maggie was a registered boxer. Tank was a registered boxer, and so I produced beautiful puppies. We stopped breeding Maggie because in her second litter, she did have a couple of white boxers, two of which were blind and deaf. And a lot of people know that when you have that gene, I forgot exactly how it all works out, but when you do have that particular gene, and um, the white dogs sometimes can have health issues. And then in her last and final issue, a lot of y'all remember Hannah. We had a little girl named Hannah. I wish I would have made that video for you guys. Hannah was one we were going to keep. She was only deaf. She wasn't blind. She was only deaf, and she was a beautiful, beautiful dog. But we did end up letting her go with good friends of ours, the ones that run City Farms and Friends, and that's Jen and her family, and she's still there to this day. One of Maggie's most beautiful babies, and they've done a fantastic job at raising her. She's gorgeous, and yes, Hannah. That her name was Hannah. Everyone's saying that they remember Hannah. No, Hannah did not pass away, y'all. Hannah did not pass away. Hannah went to live with City Farms. Lucy is the one that you may remember that I had to give CPR to. That was the one that Maggie had laid on top of and was, well, when we came in the house, I had to give her CPR to resuscitate her. And so a lot of y'all have, man, Maggie has just such a living legacy of all the neat things that she's done. But Maggie does have beautiful babies running around the country, and everyone who I still keep in contact with, I've been sent pictures like crazy. Let me see if I can pull up a couple. I don't want to bore you with me digging through my phone, but I will say that I have people on Messenger who've sent me pictures. So this is Sam, and here's one of Maggie's babies. Oh no, it says this media is no longer available. How could that happen? I can't pull it up big, but that's Sam. That's his little girl. They named her Gemma. And I don't know the best way for y'all to see it without it being blurry. But that's one of Maggie's babies. And then I also had a friend. Where are we at over here? I don't know how far back it went. Uh-oh, can't seem to find that one. But there were several folks who sent us pictures of when they heard the news about Maggie, and they sent us pictures of how well their babies are doing. And I'm not going to lie, it's scary when you can have a baby one day doing great and the next day not doing so well. I don't know where I left that, guys, but anyway, today I did take the goats down for a walk to the river, and I was hoping that Trixie would follow along, and she didn't. And that kind of broke my heart because I was kind of hoping to have Trixie pick up the role where Maggie left off. But Trixie had no desire to do that whatsoever. Trixie and Maggie, y'all, there were some similarities, but there were also lots and lots of differences. And I'm not able to read what all the comments I see they're flying by. I'm just hoping that you're not arguing. If anyone says something that is trying to provoke an argument and rile you up, just ignore it. Do the right thing and just ignore that. Continue to let your light shine, even though someone else feels like they would like to do anything but allow you time to live your best life. Don't find yourselves involved in any fighting and arguing and all of that kind of stuff with nonsensical folks. There's always room to agree to disagree. And I live in a neighborhood like right there in Plum Grove that has an abundance of dogs that run the roads. But guys, I'm going to tell you right now, and I hope that you hear me when I say this. The dogs that run the roads are not purebred dogs of any sort. Dogs that run the roads there in Plum Grove, the dogs that are running the roads that are getting into and killing Sister Kim's chickens and guineas, who have gotten into our pastures and killed our ducks and chickens, who have got a hold of my dad's dog and destroyed the ligaments in the leg of Heidi. Those dogs are, I'm just going to say it, they're just mutt type dogs. And I'm sorry to say that because I've owned dogs that were not purebred, but as an owner, you kind of can shape the way that you want your dog's life to go, no matter if it's purebred or not. And if you bring in a dog and you just let it live in the yard with no fencing, no type of boundaries whatsoever, you set out food sometimes and sometimes you don't. You have that dog that's either it's not spayed or neutered. And so and you just say, well, hey, I got the kids a dog. I got the kids a dog. We have a dog. No, you don't have a dog. What you've done was just created you've ruined the dog. And I don't have a distaste for any animal, purebred or not. I have a distaste for humans who don't know how to take care of their dogs. And so Plum Grove is in fact having a severe problem with dogs becoming predators. Probably these same dogs are someone's pet, yet I would also disagree and say it's not much of a pet when you let your dog live on the street, knock over trash cans overnight trying to find things to eat, roam through people's properties, come onto people's properties, dig under their fences, take their chickens, take their ducks, catch their guineas. And those are no longer pets. What those are predators. And I haven't seen the video, but I found out from you all that Brienne lost one of her goats to a coyote. And I don't know if Brienne saw the coyote. I don't know if she or my dad saw the coyote, but I told Bree, don't be so surprised if it wasn't a dog. And so I don't know exactly. And I'm not reading your comments. Don't try to explain to me or tell everyone else all the vast knowledge that you've acquired from Brienne's video. But we do have lots and lots of dogs. This morning I was with LE and we were driving home from dropping Lex off at school. And as I turn in the driveway, there's 4 dogs, 4 sitting at the end of the road. And I told LE, I says, that's the problem right there. Number one, there's trash cans that are overturned up and down the road. And these dogs, I don't think they all belong to the same owner. I think that what happens are these dogs just begin to form their own a band. Let's just say a band of bandits, a band of misfits trying to find ways to survive. And they become a pack. And that's how they're able to find safety in numbers, and they also find ways to help hunt. And so it's these dogs that come onto our property and are just wreaking havoc right now on mostly our feathered babies, but they will eventually a pack. Thank you. I don't know why I just didn't think about that. Yes, they become a pack. And guys, I believe that we've gotten to the point now where we are about to take matters into our own hands. Now, time out, because I know that for all of you that live in these really neat cities and towns who have a high tax rate, and so your city has a animal control, and you have a hotline that you can call that animal control, and they'll come right out and solve your problem. My friends, Plum Grove does not have any kind of animal control, none whatsoever. And Liberty County, which is the county we live in, is a poor county, and they have no animal control. Whenever we had those horses a while back that we had found that had just come running up our driveway, it took weeks to finally find someone to come out and get those horses. And so they have to begin to look around and, you might say, subcontract people out to go solve this. And so if you're saying call rescue help, guys, I am so embarrassed that you don't realize the kind of neighborhood that we live in. And so that's fine. We don't always show you that side of Plum Grove, the ugly side of Plum Grove. Because if it were a neighbor's dog, then you call your neighbor. If it was a guy down the road, you call the guy down the road. And most responsible homeowners know that in owning a pet, a dog, a cow, a horse, whatever, they have to be responsible for maintaining and keeping those animals safe and keeping them. But we don't live in those types of cities, and we don't have those types of resources. So it's awesome that you guys would like to do it that way, but I'm afraid we will have to resort to doing things our own way if we really want to have something happen. So, or if we want to make a difference, we have to find a way to get these animals off of our property and stop coming back through the property. Many of y'all saw the video where the dogs came after the first night. I buried Maggie last Saturday, and I think by Sunday or Monday, dogs were coming around trying to dig up at the grave and dig up where I buried her. I buried her under an entire yard of heavy rock, crushed concrete. So nothing was able to dig that deep, but they can obviously smell. And man, if that didn't just desecrate Maggie's little grave where they were peeing and pooping all around, trying to claim their territory. So we will find a way to, sometimes you have to help yourself. You have to help yourself to what you have to have done. But we've struggled with this for years and years, and it's just something that we've dealt with. So anyway, Maggie is gone. We have tried to do more with Trixie to involve her more in everything that we do on a daily routine. We don't want her to be so out of sorts there back at I'm a Survivor, where she comes out, on the days that we let her out and during the hours that we let her out, and she doesn't have Maggie. She doesn't have her friend, her mother, to run around with. So we've found ways to try to incorporate her, making trips with us to Longhorn Lester's, and just doing what we do and being a part of what we do. And yesterday was cute. Jamie brought her up for the first time, and it was really neat seeing her learn her way around. Of course, Millie and Fiona weren't real sure, like, wait, who's this and what is she doing here? And like Jamie talked about in her video, there was lots of smelling going on, lots of sniffing the way dogs do, getting to know each other. And at some point, they began to make rounds together. I don't think Millie ever really fully accepted her, but it's cute. But we did let all the neighbors know that this is Trixie, and if they see her in their yard or whatever else, that's just Maggie's daughter, and she'll be coming around some. And there's only 3 neighbors we have to contact. There's only the neighbors on both sides of us and behind us who the dogs have ever ventured over into their property, but none of them have chickens or anything that Trixie could get into. And so a lot of folks are saying that, man, Longhorn Lester's is really the ideal place for Trixie. And I don't really know about that. I really want Fiona and Millie to have ownership of Longhorn Lester's, and they can protect our babies. Trixie does good at I'm a Survivor as long as we stick to our routine. And sometimes our routine is not the routine that you would like, but it's the routine that we've discovered works best for her. We take her out in the mornings. We take her out throughout the day. She sleeps in the house with us at night, and everything is fine. We have a routine. She's not the one suffering. She's not struggling. I think sometimes you guys are. You see Maggie in so many videos, but when I call Maggie out, Trixie never runs up behind me and is like at the door begging to get out. Trixie knows her time. And that's the beauty about animals, is they learn a routine. They need that consistency. And so Trixie is not kept in a kennel the way many folks put their dogs into a kennel or anything like that. Trixie has free run of the yard most of the time. She has the entire barn dominium most of the time. She's potty trained, so she doesn't pee and poop in the house. She goes out into the yard to use the restroom. And then, of course, whenever I'm out and about with them, I'll let them out. I told you guys I'm not going to continually keep making videos of Trixie sucking the exhaust, because the comments on those videos, everything gets lost. All of the beauty of a video can get lost when you begin to focus and you begin to obsess over one thing. And that's what happens 9 times out of 10 in a Trixie video is people become obsessed with trying to solve your Trixie problem. I would say a quarter of the comments are about that dog needs obedience training, Lester, and you could put her in for training and she would come back a changed dog. And then the other half are, if you can't properly take care of her and train her, you need to rehome her. And then another quarter of people are, how sad that Trixie never gets to come outside. She's stuck in the house all day. And all of that's wrong. No one, guys, I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say this, but you get, I would say maybe 10, 15 minutes, a glimpse of our day. And in that glimpse, you get a small peek, a small glimpse into the day in the life of Lester or Jamie or Ellie or Jake or whoever else. And you're not going to see everything that goes on in that small glimpse of time. That doesn't happen. And so ultimately, we love our animals. We love every one of them, and we do what's best for them. And I don't think that there's a person who's ever been anything a part of this page, who knows this page, who can honestly say that we don't do what's in the best interest of our babies. Man, let me talk about Tilly, because I don't know if y'all saw this or not. I removed the comment, but a couple of days ago, I made a particular video, and it focused on Tilly and the fact that I took Tilly out of the free roaming porch, barn, corral area, and I moved her into the pasture with the goats. And I was very clear on why I had done that. Tilly had eaten something that she should not have eaten. I don't know what. It could have been the rubber off the end of the shovel. It could have been plastic off one of the totes. It could have been paper, string. I don't know. But I do know that our farm has not been goat proofed. The pastures are goat proofed. And Tilly, being a goat, even though we leave food out for her and fresh water out for her, she found ways to come into places and nibble on things that she should not be nibbling on. The rug, she was tearing up and shredding the rug there on the porch, chewing up on plastic. I even made the video showing where she chewed all of the rubber off the end of one of the handles on something. And she had gotten herself the scours. That means that it's like a goat diarrhea. And it was so bad that she had the scours for a couple of days. And I knew that there's no way I can leave Tilly out and about to eat whatever she wants and keep her safe internally. We also have dogs that roam the property at night. We see them on the cameras. The chickens, luckily, will roost up high. The peafowl, the turkeys go up high. Tilly has nowhere to go except the front porch. And so I didn't feel safe that Tilly was out and about with these dogs that are roaming the property. So I did the best thing for Tilly's well-being, and I put her inside with the goats. In fact, making her live a goat's life. And there was a fella who I would say he spent 10 or 15 minutes of his day writing an essay, an editorial in the comments of that particular video, letting us know that if there's no way we can offer Tilly a better life, a life that she deserves, her best life, then we need to up and rehome her to somewhere that will. And I didn't take time to reply to the comment. I read every word. I screenshotted it and sent it to everyone who I could find to get a good laugh out of. Because how dare anybody take a small glimpse of a video and begin to critique and tear you apart for not giving an animal. Oh my God, someone said it. I got to copy this. I got to copy this. Oh, the 10 percenters. Where's that at? You remembered that. You remembered that. Where's it at? Here you go. Oh, Dave Epstein. Dave must watch videos because I talked about the 10 percenters yesterday. And this is also something that now I didn't make up this word. My boss, I worked for my boss for 27 years. I worked for the same lady for all of these years. And my boss always talked about the 10 percenters. And she never named names, but she would talk about the 90% of the teachers in this school, or 90% of the students in this campus, or 90% of the parents in this community. And she would just talk about all of the amazing things that when all of these things come together, how powerful and how great our school, our district, our community, our student body can be. But I don't know where she got the numbers from, but she talked about the 10 percenters. She says that those 10 percenters, they can make more noise. They can cause more disruptions. They can cause more chaos. Those, those 10 percenters, y'all, are the ones who you just shake your head at. They're always going to be one in every crowd. I guess what that means is you take a classroom of 10 kids, you're going to have 10% who's going to always be the one to bring the class down, who's going to always try to find a way to be a thorn in the teacher's side. And so she used to always joke about the 10 percenters. And she said, don't be a 10 percenter. She goes, obviously, there's ways we can agree to disagree, and we're not always going to agree on the same thing. She says, but don't be that 10 percenter. And so I guess I was upset one day earlier this week, and there were people who were getting on to us for the fact that I gave CPR incorrectly to Maggie. Oh my gosh. Maggie was the best dog I'd ever had. And me and my dad and even Ellie and Jamie, guys, we've all had to try to administer CPR to different animals around the farm. Sometimes we're successful and sometimes we're not. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is going to be a little bit morbid. And so if you don't want to listen, then I would advise you now to go ahead and log out of the comments and just go ahead and take your exit and go find something else to do with your day. But would you believe that there were probably, I will say, 10% of the 3,000 comments, I think, on that video, 3,000 something comments, which I would say was a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement. And for the most part, everyone was so supportive and you were very appreciative. You were appreciative. You were thankful that we showed you the snippets of the video that we showed you. You wanted closure. You wanted the good, the bad, and the ugly. You want to know that that whatever goes on at I'm a Survivor or Longhorn Lester's, it's not going to always be pretty. Sometimes there are some dirty and some things that you're not real proud of. We make mistakes, but it's our goal to let you know that of all the pages you follow, all of those that hide things from you, all of the pages that only want to show you the highlights of their day, we don't have a problem showing you everything. And so ultimately, by seeing Maggie collapse on the front porch and seeing all of us try to get her back to life, if there weren't 10% of those comments were, why did you waste time trying to CPR? Why didn't you get her to a vet? Well, don't get me started on how far away we live from the nearest vet. Maggie was not breathing, people. I can laugh about it now. And then if other folks said, if you would have learned how to administer CPR to a dog correctly, my friends, I'm going to tell you something that might really gross you out. I'm not mad, y'all. Please don't be saying Lester's on a rant. I'm not on a rant. I'm just telling you my perspective on that particular day. Let me show you something if I can. Trixie, hey, come here. Come here. I want to give you something. Does anyone know one feature about a boxer that is unique to only the boxer breed? It's the length of their tongue. Guys, if you don't already know this, I don't know how and I don't know why, but a boxer has the longest tongue of any other dog. Okay? Now listen to me. And I'm trying to be respectful to Maggie, and I'm trying not to be crude and vulgar or morbid in what I'm about to tell you. But when Maggie had lost her consciousness, and that means she'd lost the control of her muscles. My friends, listen, Maggie's tongue came this far out of her mouth. I'm not trying to make this up, and I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to joke, but when I put my mouth over the entire, it's not a snout, but an entire this part of the dog, I know how to give dog CPR. I know how to give animal CPR. And every animal's different. And so what you do with the dog is you put their entire nose and mouth into your mouth. And that's how you administer the breath. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. As I administered my breath, there was the muzzle. Thank you, the muzzle. Guys, there was so much of her tongue that it ended up pushing her tongue down her throat. My breath trying to go down her airway ended up pushing her relaxed tongue down her throat. So then after I gave the breath and I felt her tongue go down her throat, then the four of us who were working together had to clear her airway. We had to reach in and pull her tongue back out of her throat. Now, friends, I'm not trying to gross you out. I mean, if you want to know, that I'm just telling you what's happening. And so I tried it a second time. This time I tried to move the tongue and try to fit my mouth around it. And it wasn't possible. It wasn't possible. Her tongue was going down her own throat. And so in essence, there was no way to clear her airway because her own tongue was getting in the way. Now, maybe you've been specially trained and you know all kinds of, I've never been to classes like this. I'm just a man that takes care of animals. And I will say that we have CPR'd successfully baby goats who were born breached. And we have success story after success story after success story of successful resuscitation of a number of animals. But with Maggie, I was unable to get her back. There, I was unable to bring her back. And the fact of the difficulty of the tongue is one thing that I never experienced ever with any of the animals that I've worked on. I've never had to experience that. And so I didn't show the entire video, but would you believe that at some point we had to get a straw? We found the longest straw that we had for one of Jamie's cups. And we ran the straw down her airway and we closed her mouth around it. And so I was literally trying to give breath through the straw. Now it was a big straw. It was, the kind that you have in the big guzzlers, those big long straws. Guys, this is all happening in a matter of minutes. Lots of pressure. You're watching your beloved dog pass right before your eyes. You're trying to get her to feel a pulse and a heartbeat, and you're trying to find. And so we tried the best that we could. But if I tell you what, if those 10%ers didn't jump down our throats about the fact that we administered CPR incorrectly, everyone knows you put your mouth over the muzzle, Lester. And I'm thinking, Kiss off. Kiss off. I said probably worse than that. I read every comment. Y'all know that. And I know, I don't know what you're saying right now, but you're probably saying, oh, Lester, just avoid the negative Nellies. Lester, just avoid the Karens. Lester, don't worry about those kind of folks. I'm not worried about it, guys. I tell you what, I've been doing what I do for a lot longer than you've known me, and I'll continue to do what I do long after Facebook and YouTube has moved on. And I will remember that if I ever have a dog, an adult dog like a boxer who has such a long tongue, I don't know why their tongue is so long, but I will say kiss off. I'm just going to say kiss off 10 percenters because we don't need you here. You're not going to make or break this page, you 10 percenters. The 10 percenters are not those that support the page or even show love in the comments. The 10 percenters are the same 10 percenters that go around to every Morrow Hill, every farm channel you can find, and all you want to do is tear them apart and tell them how horrible they are and how much greater you would have been had you been there. And I say, piss off. That's horrible. That's horrible that I say that. I should need to find a way to just stop it. But no, 10 percenters is I don't know the exact number. It might be 11%, y'all. It might be 5%. I just joke because I tell you what I did not do. I did not go and take all 3,800 comments and count to see exactly how many people were telling me that I'm doing CPR wrong. I didn't do that, but I read that a number of times. And what you didn't see is what I chose not to let you see, the fact that I could not fit Maggie's muzzle into my mouth because when I would blow, her tongue, because there was so much, it would push it into her throat, which ended up blocking the airway, which I was not getting any breath down into her at all. I would I sit there and I ask myself if we could go back and redo that, what I would have done differently, and I don't know. So one thing I would not have done differently is snatched her up, ran to the truck, and began to drive because it was Saturday afternoon, well after our vet's office was closed. Jamie did get her phone. She did contact our vet, trying to find out who was on call. And so it all happened so darn fast. And I just pray that you, especially you 10 percenters, never find yourself in a situation that, and if you do, let's just hope that you don't put it on video because you may not be able to handle when 10 percenters come at you the way we can just kind of laugh it off. But that's funny. Dave, thank you for remembering that. I saw a lot of people talk about it over here in the comments. Here's someone who's writing in all caps. Let's see what this over here says. Lester, you're giving them too much energy talking about it. Stop explaining yourself for these people. You're a good damn man. Hey, Dorcas, I just told them to piss off. I'm not building them up. I told them to kiss off. I said piss off. I said kiss off. I said beat it. And I said, so listen, I'm not building them up, Dorcas. I'm not. Here we go. That's right. Kiss off. Then be done because these 10 percenters don't matter anyway. You did everything you possibly could do. Thank you, Cubby Bear. So let's not talk a whole lot about that. Someone says, ooh, Lester, why didn't you just say F off? I'm not going to do all of that, y'all. It's okay. Lester, you're a lot nicer than I would have been. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's kind of true. I'm trying to find yeah, I will say that right there. This is the funniest thing. It kind of makes you wonder just how many of those 10 percenters actually have their own animals that they love even half as much as y'all do, Lester. Now, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe they do. I do know that when you break down our analytics, I do know that it goes in thirds. Let me go ahead and hide all that. Let me just hide those comments. I do know that they say that our farm channels are normally broken down in thirds. I don't know who did this survey. I don't know if it was an actual survey done, but this is something that's heavily talked about amongst the farm channels, and that your farm channels are broke down into thirds. Okay. So a third of you guys are folks who live the exact same lifestyle as we do. You might be a little bit smaller scale. And so you maybe hope to, you like to watch the channel because it gives you ideas for what we do. And so you might can learn to incorporate some of these things on your farms. So that's a third of you folks. I would be real curious to find out who's who. Hold on. Can we do a poll? Can we do a poll? Hey, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask a question. So I'm going to say one. I want to. No, it won't. Okay, one. Okay, here, I'm going to put this up, guys, and I would love to see your comments. So let me find it. Okay. So here we go. So in the comments, let me talk about this first. Don't say anything yet. Don't say anything yet. Don't comment anything yet. But I would like to know who you are. I would like to know who you are. So as far as 1, 2, or 3. So we'll say number ones are folks who used to be what we are now. You used to have a farm, have some property. You used to take care of animals. You used to do similar to what we're doing now. Maybe not exactly with the rescue, the sanctuary, but you used to be involved in farming. Maybe you farmed with your uncle, with your grandfather, but you have direct ties to what we do. Maybe from a childhood, maybe from a former marriage, maybe you've just gotten too old and you let that lifestyle go. But all of the ones would be people who used to live this lifestyle. And then number two are people who do this right now. You actually have this lifestyle. This is your lifestyle. You do what we do. Maybe not exactly with ostriches or longhorns, but you are a farmer. You're a gardener. You actually get out with animals on a daily basis and you farm or ranch or garden or homestead. And then number threes would be people that never had this lifestyle, but man, you aspire to. Someday, Lester, I aspire to do what you guys are doing. One day I want to find myself on a small piece of property to take care of animals or take care of plants or have me an orchard, like Jamie. So what I'm doing over here is I'm reading through the comments and I'm coming so you can see what I see. I think for the most part that, oh wait, someone put it, there's a 4. Wait, where was that 4? I saw a 4. Hold on. I want to find that. Did I forget something? Where was that 4? Oh, I missed it. It went by. Oh, wait, hold on. 4. I love living through people like you. Okay, so maybe 4 would be people that they don't aspire to do this. They've never done it, but they just like watching it. I didn't think about that, y'all, but that could actually be a category of its own. 4 could be people who, hold on, there was something else about a 4. Look at all the 4s. There's a lot more 4s than what I realized. 1 and 3. Okay, so Lexi says, I used to care for horses and ponies. Also, my vet said breeding dogs also shortens their life because I wanted to breed my husky mix. But after I heard that, I fixed her. So what I had heard from our vet is that if you have a healthy female and if you can skip a cycle, you normally can get 3 healthy litters out of your dog before you need to worry about, go ahead and ending that. And so we did that. We bred Maggie and then we let her skip a cycle. We bred Maggie. We let her skip a cycle. we bred Maggie, and then we got her fixed. So we did get 3 beautiful litters out of Maggie. Hold on. Number 5. 5. I want to be, but will never have the chance to. And that kind of goes along with you aspire, Paula. You aspire. And who's to say you'll never have a chance to? There's a lot more 4s pop up on here than what I realized. 4. None of the above. None of the above, Lester. None of the above. So that was interesting. Where did I see that at? Come here. Come back. Oh my goodness gracious. They're going so fast. I'm a 4. I have a 10-year-old Maltese, but I love to watch and learn from what y'all do. All right, so I will have to rework my 1, 2, or 3, and I'll start letting everyone know. Oh, here we go. 4. I'm a doctor from India who tried to give CPR to my beloved rescued GSD, trying to save her when she had a cardiac arrest, but I couldn't save her. GSD. What do y'all think a GSD means? Great Dane? Great something Dane? German Shepherd Dog? German Shepherd Dog? German Shepherd Dog. Okay, so a German Shepherd. Oh, okay. A lot of you guys are saying German Shepherds. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. So I did not know. But no, we have a we're blessed to have you guys, the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. And if you are somebody who used to have this lifestyle and then you've let it go, and then and I totally understand that, guys. You know, you have seasons of change, and in your lives, this is fun and this is entertaining, and this is hard work. And I will say that I hope to God that I will always have something to keep me entertained in animals, and possibly even joining Jamie in the garden and the orchard. But when I begin to slow down, I think that I will continue to watch channels that are active in this kind of stuff, just to help me reminisce, just to remember. And then, of course, the number 2s, I forgot what was what. The folks that have never had this lifestyle, but man, you always dream about it. You really want to someday do something like this. And then number 3, you do this now. You've been doing this. You just like to watch what other people do. And I probably got those all out of order. Hey, here we go. I love seeing sweet comments. Nope, that's not it. I gotta find it. Okay, Lexi. I love you, Lester. I know your pain because my boxer, Ali, was my favorite pet ever. My new puppy, Kalala, is the husky mix, and she's my second. I miss caring for horses. I did it for free. I would do it for free any day. And so I've said this a couple of times, and I will go ahead and say it again. And then if y'all don't mind, I want to share. I got 3 things in the mail yesterday that I would like to share with you. I don't know what's what, but I feel like I would like to share them with you before we get off. I think that I only speak for me, I can't say that I've ever had a dog in all of my years who I loved as much as I loved Maggie. And you can try to choose your dog, but like people always say, your animals end up choosing you. Your animals choose you. And so Maggie just chose me. And there are tons of videos that have Maggie in them, but I just feel like I feel like a jerk for not making more videos focused only on Maggie, because she was that amazing. And it was touching to see the 100,000+ people who reacted to the announcement of us losing Maggie. Guys, 100,000 people, that's the size of a city. 100,000 is the size of a city. And to know that there's enough people out there that felt the loss of Maggie because they knew that Maggie was just such a special girl. And that means something to me. That really does. It really meant something to me to see the number of people and then how hard it was to read your comments and just the amount of tears that were shed in the tub, in the privacy of my tub, just reading and reading and reading the way that Maggie had touched you and the things that you saw in her that I never realized. And then the guilt of me not focusing more on her. Maggie was just one of those girls that I thought would be around forever. I don't know why. I told you guys this a couple of days ago that as I walk around the property and I take an assessment every single day of all of the animals' health, I can't help but realize and to admit to you that there will come a day when we'll walk out and Mr. Huck will be no more. We will lose Mr. Huck, guys. I'm sorry. And we will one day lose Ringo and we'll lose old Nanny Goat. And there's other animals that I know we will lose to predators and we'll lose some to parasites and we'll lose some to old age and we'll lose some to accidents. You know, one of the Golden Girls that got run over with the tractor. I will not say any names of who did that, but that was one of those things that was just very unexpected. You know, we take the tractor into the barns and we take the tractors around the property and we take the tractors with hay to drop off. And most animals know that you just, when you see the tractor, you get out of the way. Sometimes they'll jump on the back of the tractor just because they're goats and they're playful. And most of us are very aware of what's around us. And to lose one of the Golden Girls that way by an accident was just heartbreaking and sudden. And of course, we lost another Golden Girl from being sick. She was just sick. We had the rumen transfer and we had all kinds of things that we had tried, but you just don't, you lose them. And of course, many of your animals come to you already at the end of their days where they have already experienced the best that life has to offer. And a lot of folks want to move them around and, surrender them to a sanctuary. In essence, just let them go somewhere else to die. Let them go somewhere else to die. And then let's not forget that Tilly, even though she's living with the goats and she's living a goat's life that may be a little bit hard for her to adjust to, please don't forget where she came from. She spent 4 years inside of a room in a mobile home, a small room inside of a mobile home. And guys, I don't know exactly what you would consider an animal's best life. And I'm not making fun of the sweet lady who gave us Tilly, but she sent pictures and videos of Tilly before we went to get her. And even though we call that a surrender, that was very much a rescue because that little girl was a goat who lived in a room of a home, who never got to see the outdoors, who ate scraps off the table. And this lady, while she was able to, would pick up and clean up the messes that Tilly would make. But once she had her spine surgery, she was and she became wheelchair bound. She knew at that point she could no longer care for Tilly. And so it was her dream. I want to say this again. It was her dream to see Tilly one day become friends with Pebbles. Well, ends up that Tilly has become better friends with old Nanny Goat, but it was never her desire to see Tilly live in our home or her desire to see Tilly live in our barn or the shop or just free roaming around the porch. So that's just something that you'll have to get over. Tilly is living her best life. And like I can say, I will say this about every one of our animals. There's not one of our animals out of the over 100 animals that we take care of that is not living a better life now than they were before we got them. And that goes from Carl to Carl's ladies to our longhorns to our dogs to our cats, you name it. No matter what the animal, they're all living their very best lives. Somebody are going to say, wait a minute, Lester, them peafowl over at Cog Hill were doing pretty good. Well, you don't know what I know about those peafowl and how good they're doing right now. That will be in a future discussion because it's funny. But those peafowl that we got from Jason and Mary Carl and Brooke are doing amazing. We don't know if they're male or female yet, but they're doing really good. Don't y'all leave quite yet. Let me open up these letters and see what we got here. Some of the letters that we've received have still been about my shoulder and, kind of like get well soon. Okay, so this over here is about the Indian spirit. And so I will just say that I'm going to skip this letter for right now. I will read this a little bit later. But what she's doing is sharing her experiences. She's sharing her experiences with strange things that have happened on her property. She goes through and tells me at least 3 different events that happened on her property. And so I would love to read this because everyone knows that we also feel like there's this Dana says, hey, Lester, wait a minute. How about category number 4, folks who are unable to have animals like you guys do? Not folks that used to, not folks that want to, not folks that do, but how about folks that are unable to have animals like y'all do? That's something I haven't thought about. So, yes, that would be another category. So, thank you, Mary Lou, and I will take time to read that. But I don't want to lose the focus right now on our sweet Maggie and Tilly. Guys, look, Tilly, Trixie. Look at that girl, Trixie. Trixie, people want to talk to you. Can you show some love? Oh my gosh, she is so exhausted. Can y'all believe that girl? She's just so darn exhausted. There's a lot of people saying I'm a number 4, another 4. Okay, so this over here would be a get well card. This is about my shoulder. And guys, I will say my shoulder is feeling so much better. There were some things that I was trying not to do, some things that I had to do. I am going to say that with Team 2, they were so good in the fact that they were very aware of the fact that I had a bad shoulder. And besides me having to help move a couple of the materials in, they pretty much did everything on their own without asking for a lot of help. Now, I did sort of re-injure myself in the whole Maggie experience. I'm not going to feel sorry for Lester. It's not a feel sorry for me. But Maggie weighed 100 pounds. You guys know Maggie was a 100-pound dog. And by me picking up Maggie off the porch and moving her to the side-by-side, and from the side-by-side moving her over into the cemetery, by me taking that shovel and digging those holes, that hole had to be pretty deep. And of course, LE did the rock. LE brought the rock, but I had to re-shovel the rock and re-rake the rock. I will say that I kind of like did some things to my arm that I'm not real happy about. So there are some new pains, but there are some things that I just could not help. Some things I just had to do. This is a card, and it says, this special card comes to tell you get well soon. And inside this card is another card that says, I hope you're back to your old self in no time. And inside this card is a tiny but heartfelt hug. And then she has some writing, beautiful handwriting. Lester, I hope this brings a smile to your face. I know that being on injured reserve is no fun. Take care. Please let Jake do the heavy lifting. I know that you have plans for the memorial garden, so if so, um, something with you. I say let the master carpenter, Jake, work his magic. You're always in my thoughts and prayers. Okay, so Ashley, I think that's, or is that Abby? Where's that card? Oh boy, that's Abigail. This is from Abigail. Abigail, do you remember a little while ago in this live where I talked about you see a small snippet of our lives? You get to only see a small snippet of our day. You see a small snippet of our of we have days like yours that are 24 hours long, and you only get to see a small snippet of that. Don't forget that you only see a small snippet of the foreman life as well, Jake as the foreman. And I'm going to say this, and this is with no disrespect to Jake, but Jake will not lay a hand on the memorial garden. There, I look Jake right in the eye. Jake, do not lay a hand on anything that has to do with our memorial garden. Jake is not as skilled a carpenter as what he has. Let me just say this. We all, on social media, we all can be whoever we want to be. It's true. On social media, we can all be whoever we want to be. You can put any profile picture. You can write any biography about yourself. You can pick and choose what you want people to see, and you can leave out everything else. But if you really believe that Jake is a master carpenter and Jake does heavy lifting, then I'm sorry to say that Jake has really pulled one over on you. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is where we all start fighting about Jake. This is where we all start fighting about Jake. Guys, Jake is my nephew and I love him, and Jake helps me a lot around the sanctuary. And I would not be able to do all that we do without having Jake's help. Jake is great at some things, but Jake ain't going to lay a hand on my memorial garden. Those are my babies, and they're going to get we ain't doing that with Jake, y'all. I'm trying to see if anyone's going to come to Jake's defense here. I'm really seeing if anyone's going to come to Jake's defense because used to, now we have lost 500 people since I began talking about Jake. So I'm guessing those 500 people have jumped over and say, Jake, Lester's talking mess about you again. Jake, Lester's talking mess. But here we go. Here we go. Poor Jake. Oh, Lester, where's it at? Oh, Lester, poor Jake. He's young, and we all are specialty. Not sure what you mean by that, but Jake is actually 28, so not sure what you call young. Can we just say inexperienced? Can we say inexperienced? Because Jake would be very inexperienced. Let me tell y'all what I want Jake to do. Hold on, I'm gonna read this card. This here comes from A. Meredith in Delaware. Step by step, one day at a time. Healing means having good days and bad days. It means taking care of yourself and getting lots of rest. It means finding strength and holding on to hope. But most importantly, it means getting one step closer to feeling better, sending good thoughts your way. And then she writes, I hope you're receiving promising answers from your MRI today. Oh, I must have gotten this letter late. And praying for you, your family, and your loved ones. And then this is from Adela Meredith, and that's beautiful. So all three of these were kind of related to the whole shoulder thing, and I guess I'm just getting them late. But listen, what I want Jake to do. I wish I had a pen and a paper to write on. But what I would like Jake and Brienne to do, this is what I told them yesterday. I called them together and I says, come on over here. Uncle Lester wants to talk to you. Now, y'all hear me on this, okay? Hear me on this. Let's just pretend that this phone is my dad's property. Let's just pretend that this is let's just say 50 acres behind my dad's house, okay? It's in a long rectangular shape. And the beauty of it is there are ponds on this side, there's ponds on this side, there's ponds here, and there's a river that runs behind it, okay? So let's just pretend that this is the property behind my dad's house. This is the property that my dad has never, ever talked about deeding off to the kids. Whatever. Let dad hold on to it till he dies, whatever. But just because dad doesn't want to deed off the property doesn't mean that Jake and Brienne should not do this. Listen, I want Jake and Brienne to go out to that property and tag team a fence right down the middle. Right down the middle. Jake's house is over on this side. Brienne's house will be over on this side. They already have their homes, okay? So you have Jake's property, not property, but Jake's very own farm, complete with fencing, ponds, pasture, and there's woods. Over on this side would be Brienne's. Brienne has complete with pastures, ponds, there's woods, and they both have share that same river. I would love it if Jake and Brienne would go out there and together create a fence line, decide on a fence line going down the center of that property, and then each of them creating their very own farms. Create their very own farms. Right now, Jake and Brienne come over to I'm a Survivor and they get a lot of their content from the animals over at I'm a Survivor. And that's great. I love the fact that Jake and Brienne can come over, do a feed up, chase an animal around here or there, chase the cornholio, and that's cute. But listen, Jake and Brienne are in their 20s, but one day they'll be in their 30s, and then they'll be in their 40s and their 50s. And I told them each, I says, listen to me, because you guys are making your living off of social media, you're not paying in Social Security. You don't have benefits. You don't have a 401k. You guys make money each month, not a lot of money. Their pages are not that big, but they make enough money to stop blowing on stupid stuff and realize that you're getting older and it might be time to start doing what I did when I was their age. I went down, and even though my dad never deeded off any property, I went ahead and decided that I want to start working and developing this part of the property. So at the age of 28, I went over and I fenced in a yard, which is the exact same yard that I have today. I planted all of those trees that you see around my yard. Those were hand planted by this guy. Every tree hand planted by me. I fenced it in. I planted some trees and I began to master plan that being my yard. I also built the barn, which is where I lived after the hurricane flood. And so you all know that these kind of things take time and they take planning. And so, yes, I think that Jake and Brienne, at the age that they are now, while they're still young and they're still passionate, y'all, they have passion. Jake and Bree have energy and passion for things. This would give them content, number one. And I know for a fact that the folks that follow Jake and Brienne would love to see them create something on their own. On their own. And now I know what you're going to say. That would be foolish. What if Pawpaw never gives them that land? Y'all, my dad will eventually either deed off the land or die, and my mom will. So my dad may take it to the grave with him. I believe that my dad will probably do the same thing Uncle Raleigh did and die. And so someone said it's better to give to your children while your hands are warm instead of when your hands are already cold. But hey, if my dad and Uncle Raleigh choose not to, it is what it is. But I do know that one day Jake and Brienne will inherit that land. But for now, why wait? Why wait? Uncle Dan's not going to sell it. Uncle Dan would never sell moral property. I'll never sell land. We're never going to sell it. So, whereas Longhorn Lester's will become what I eventually evolve to, I'm a Survivor Sanctuary will become my oldest son, LE's. Like it or not, it will become my oldest son. And that would put at some point LE, Jake, and Brienne, all with their very own farms, all with land that's parallel to each other. Parallel to each other, and they would all match up fences. And I would say that Brienne is already off to a really good start. She has, I think, 4 of her very own goats that we built a yard for, and they're up in the front. And then Jake has not really acquired any animals, but I would be more than happy to let Jake have Moo. Jake can just have Moo and Annabelle, and that could be his first additions to his little farm. I could probably anyway. That's not the point. That's not the point. Forget all that. Let's not talk about Lester. Can you give Brienne one of the donkeys? We're not going all there. But what I'm saying is, take that property, that 50 acres, and divide it in half. You don't have to deed it off. No one's asking for a deed, but there's nothing wrong with each of them investing their money into a barn or a stable, investing their money into digging out the ponds, investing their money into getting a well dug so they have a water source, investing their money in their property, and eventually, when they're ready, bringing in their own animals, bringing in their own content. And if they are, in fact, going to be content creators and they're going to live by social media and they want to grow their business through their social media, they both have Facebook and YouTube, and they probably do other things like Snapchat and TikTok and whatever else. Listen, then it's time to delve in. Jake has worked for us for over a year. Jake knows what he's doing on a tractor. Jake knows how to build fence. But at the same time, Jake's doing all of these things to help out his Uncle Lester, which will never be Jake's. Those will eventually, all of this will become my son's. LE in particular will be the first one to inherit. And so I think that someone is saying that can be very ugly. I don't know what part of that could be ugly, because investing in your future, especially when it involves investing in development of your land, it can never go wrong, can never go wrong. I will say this, my dad may not feel comfortable with deeding property off, but what I would hate to see happen is that my dad eventually dies with no plan in place and then end up the the land just being divvied and divided and dillied out to whoever, which is a huge mess with Uncle Raleigh and what's going on with Uncle Raleigh's property. That right there, my friends, is a mess. And no one would have ever thought that poor Uncle Raleigh, who always had a vision for what he wanted to see happen to his land once he was dead and gone, absolutely, that is not happening. That is absolutely not happening. And that to me is a sad thing. So I would rather my dad, at least Jake and Brienne should talk about it with my dad and maybe their dad and see what they say, because I would hope that y'all would encourage Jake and Brienne to do this. I told them about it. They seemed excited about it, but they're both terrified to go ask my dad. Yeah, they are terrified to go ask my dad about that. How long have I been on here with y'all? Because I feel like I don't want to burn, not burn bridge. I don't want to wear out my welcome. What do I have here on my time? Is it true that I've talked to y'all for an hour and a half? Who does that? Only a guy like me who can ramble on and on about nothing. So let's just summarize. We talked about the 4 kinds of people who follow the page. We talked about the people who actually have this lifestyle and live this every day. So what I do, you also do. And so we sometimes can share ideas off of each other. People who used to live this lifestyle, those that used to run a farm or a ranch or a rescue or a sanctuary, people who have always wanted to. Man, you haven't got a chance to yet. But man, one of these days you want to find yourselves doing what we do. Or people that never had any of these, and unfortunately, because of health or maybe because of age, you realize that you'll never be able to. And so you just kind of watch and get a love of animals because you never had a chance to, maybe. So we talked about that. We laughed about those 10 percenters, those people that invest and waste all of their energy in trying to be mean and just loving to be mean. They love to fight and argue. They can just sit there and type, and man, they're oh boy, this is going to be good. This is going to get Lester's heat boiling. Boy, his blood's going to boil now. And we've laughed about that a little bit. We've talked about Trixie and the fact that she's not Maggie, but she is a good girl. Trixie! Trixie! I love you. Can you come give me a kiss? Nope. She is definitely not a Maggie. She's not a Maggie, but I do love her. We've talked about her spending some time here at Longhorn Lester's and us trying to find ways to make her not feel the loss of Maggie as much as what we do. And if we can kind of ease her into life without her mom, that would be fine. We talked a little bit about the day of the actual attempted CPR and the difficulties of giving Maggie CPR when her tongue had relaxed, and it ended up being one of the main reasons why we could not successfully give her CPR. And then we also talked about Jake and Brienne, and the fact that I really hope that they start to realize that they're not getting any younger while they are young and strong and healthy and passionate. Start investing in their futures. Start investing in their futures. And I think that y'all would love to see that come along. I gave them a challenge. I said, take my drone and fly over the property and save that drone footage. And then every month, like on the first of the month or whatever, take the drone and fly it over where we can see both of y'all's properties side by side. And I don't know how they would do it. Maybe Jake might invest in the pond. Brienne might invest in a barn or a stable. Jake might invest in cross fencing. Brienne might invest in, I don't know, a goat playground. I don't know. But each of them can take time and invest their monies that they're making from their YouTube into their properties. And in a year's time, let's see how far they've come. Give their properties a name. Whereas I'm a Survivor Sanctuary, and over here we are Longhorn Lester's. Give your property a name. Give it a name. And not Shirtless Jake's Homestead. Please don't be Shirtless Jake's Homestead. I says, Jake, if you're going to be Shirtless Jake Homestead, son, you're going to have to beef up a little bit. If you're going to be Shirtless Jake, then you need to walk around with some big old pecs, some huge bulging chest, a ripped six-pack. You can't have girl boobs walking around. I'm Shirtless Jake. How y'all doing? With little flabby arms. You can't do that. So you have to think about the name of your property and then make that become your brand. And people, that means you all, would be able to see that from the beginning as it grows. The same way you've been around to watch I'm a Survivor evolve and develop, the same way you've watched Longhorn Lester's evolve and develop to what it is. I know that y'all would love to watch Jake and Brienne do that. And they need to, because there's a lot of farm channels that are doing that. And Jake and Brienne are still dilly-dallying around over at I'm a Survivor. Don't get me wrong, we appreciate the help, but that's not setting up their future. That's not helping them set up their future. And they have to do that at some point. And I also want to add one last thing, because I saw a lot of people say it a little bit earlier. You're like, LE never helps. LE, that is a darn flat out lie. Do you know that LE came over yesterday and worked with me? As a matter of fact, LE was over this morning working with me. LE doesn't always document what he's doing when he helps his dad. He just does it because that's what a son does. LE is very consumed with things going on in his life. LE has his school. He has his fiance. They're trying to maintain a relationship, living together, and all of those things are, takes time. LE also has a passion of football coaching, the coaching of football. So in a way, he interns his time now coaching flag football teams, learning a lot about his future and what his future is going to look like in pursuing his passion. And so that is what LE does. And I could not be more proud of LE. He is the flip-flop farmer, and LE comes by and helps me every chance he gets. And when he's not at the house, he's texting or calling, asking what he can do. Where can he go? What property do I need him at? So don't be a 10%er and just try to ride on LE because you don't see him in enough videos. You see Jake in videos because he gets paid to be in videos, and he gets content off of the videos. You see Brienne in videos because she gets paid to help out around the farm, and she gets content from the farm. You may not see LE in as many videos because LE will make videos of anything and everything. And so LE will video his cats, he'll video Megan's goats, he'll video a live talking about some kind of a religious conviction or something that he has. And so I admire that about him, for him being himself. So let's all stop that 10%ing stuff. And if you're one of those 10%ers, just realize that by turning that energy around to something positive can help you shine that light. Boy, am I just rambling on. I cannot believe I still held on to so many people for such a long time. LE is a great man, y'all. He's a great young man, and he has so many qualities about him that I wish I had even a fraction of. I wish I did. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you all go for the day. But I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for loving Trixie. Trixie, baby, can you please come over here just for a second? Baby, you're not that tired. That is something that Maggie would have never done. Maggie would have come over and kissed and licked all over me, y'all. Anyway, yeah, some of y'all in the comments are rude as hell, but hey, that's the internet for you. And that's actually real life. There's people in real life that are rude as hell, but you're not one of them, and I'm not one of them, and we're going to let our light shine, okay? We will let our light shine. All right, I'm out of here. Guys, thank you very much for loving us, and happy Friday. Oh, for the over 4,000 people that are still here, I finally got the rights to Longhorn Lesters on Facebook. I haven't done a whole lot to it, but I did get it claimed. I was able to, no, that one lady asshole who wants to be known as Longhorn Lester, she will not give up that page for nothing. She will not give it up for nothing. But I was able to negotiate a little deal with the other person who took Longhorn Lesters, and now it is officially mine. So if you guys want to go to Facebook and be a part of Longhorn Lesters, you'll be one of the few and the proud who can join that. I've only uploaded a couple of videos, but Longhorn Lesters on Facebook is official. Not Longhorn Lester. No one knows who that cookie lady is. Don't go to her. and you'll see real fast that's not my page. That's some cuckoo. But I did finally acquire Longhorn Lester's, which is the same name that we have on YouTube, Longhorn Lester's. And then another thing is Sunday morning at 8 o'clock on Facebook. Sunday morning, 8 o'clock on YouTube, 5 o'clock in the morning on Facebook, because Facebookers drink coffee and YouTubers drink water after a late Saturday night. Yeah, so I'm kidding. We have our Team 2. We will have our Team 2, and I would invite you to go visit their page. They are Facebookers, no. They do YouTube. They do YouTube also, but we are going to promote them through Facebook, which is how they asked us to. And so that's a pleasure. They did us a major service, and I can't wait for you all to meet them. So that will be Sunday morning early. You will see our video of the meet and greet and all of the lead up. And then you can watch their video by clicking their link, seeing their page, watching the project that they created for us, and seeing all that good stuff. And we would certainly ask you to do them a favor and like their video, subscribe to their channel, follow if you're going to do it on Facebook, and just get to know them. And I promise you, you will not be let down. They're good people. So I'm excited about that. And then we'll be talking about Team 3 coming up in the near future. I will say this. I've already begun to gather supplies for Team 3. And once again, Jamie's mad because I put a little too much work on my shoulder. Guys, I have to go because now I'm really running out of time. Y'all have a wonderful Friday. I love you so very much, and I'm so blessed to have you. And God has been good to me. He's blessed me, and there's no greater blessing than my children, my family, and that includes you.